Welcome back to the coolest channel on YouTube. Look, smash that like button. Let's get this video to like 15,000 likes and share these videos with your friends and family. Subscribe if you want to be a part of the family. But look, we do interesting videos over here, and this is just another banger. So watch this thing all the way through, man, so you can see the full compilation. But look, man, let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments down below. And just know, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just trying to show you the possibilities of life in this world that we live in. But look, if you're going through a tough time, just know you're not in this life by yourself. We're going through this thing called life together. Let's get into this video without further ado.
There is an alien invasion happening right now, right before your eyes, right? This is what they're trying to keep you distracted from with the UFO files. What is going on inside of your body is more dangerous than seeing aliens. Do you know that? You are the extraterrestrial. You are the alien. You're not from here. But do you remember that? There's an invasion going on right now, and that invasion, in all way, is attacking our nervous system. Your nervous system is the path to ascension. It's your ticket out of this density. So how do they disrupt this wiring system? By pushing out fear. That's why the viruses are coming out of nowhere. Every angle. Now, for those of you who are aware, I need you to be firm. I need you to remember who you are. Do not be shaken. Do not change your plans. You are unstoppable. You are a god. You are a multi-dimensional being. If anything, right now is the time to learn how to master energy. How to alchemize energy. Stop running away from yourself. Who you are. Who you are in all totality is what is scary to the Matrix. Because if you truly awaken to remember who you are, you disrupt the system. That disruption goes against the world they are trying to build. So I need you to put your seatbelt, all right, and be unshaken. Watch, observe, but do not partake, all right? Be the author of your life. It's not in your reality. If it's not in your reality, it does not exist. Do not feed into the programs, right? The fears, the detours. Do not feed the system any further. Right now is the time to tap deeper into yourself. You are the alien. You've been here so many times. You're just in a different form. This is literally the vehicle, the body. Just like a car. You just forgot how to drive it. I mean, when you drive a car, you have to go to school to learn how to drive it. Well, this is the school we call Earth, right? You have to remember who you are as a multi-dimensional being. You are having this experience with this vehicle. You have to learn.
Here, and I was looking at the flat earth map. Hold on. Don't leave yet, because it's not about flat earth. And that's when it hit me. A lot of the land beyond the ice wall have the same names as the gods. Have some Egyptian god names, some Norse gods, and some Greek gods. Now pay attention to how this map looks. Very similar to our solar system. But wait, there's more. I then started noticing how the number 12 has a significant value in our life. These just being a few. But it isn't 12 that's the important number. It's actually 13. There just always is a sacrifice. For example, Jesus had 12 disciples, yet he was sacrificed. He would have been the 13th. There's 12 zodiac signs, when in all actuality, there's 13, matching the 13 constellations. But let's look at the astrological wheel. Doesn't it look just like the other maps? How about we look at a black hole? I know. I'm getting there. And thinking about the zodiac signs, it actually reminded me of a movie called 13 Ghosts. If you've ever seen this movie, there was originally 12 ghosts, and one had to be sacrificed. This is the book that went along with the movie. Look like anything? The 13 ghosts are the 13 zodiacs. Notice how there's kids in the middle. Listen to what they say about the ghost and the goal.
Oculars, what's that? It's Latin. Oculars. The eye of hell. Very good. The eye of hell. Stuck in here. That's how it was crazy. White people. Go on. In hell, there's an eye that sees everything. The past and the future, the heaven and earth, the blessed and the damned. If knowledge is power, and the man who controls the oculars would be the most powerful man on earth.
It's not power.
Your uncle.
Oh, great. So, how many ghosts have been set free?
11, and the house needs 12.
No. Damon said something about 13.
13.
There are 13 ghosts.
The 13th ghost is a failsafe. In order to stop the process, the house needs a sacrifice of life instead of death.
Another
Willing
sacrifice.
human sacrifice.
Anyone else notice one of the ghosts is a titan? Oh, and this is just the beginning. Let's talk about the time machine in Lovecraft Country. Look familiar?
Now, upwards of 60 trillion parallel universes. Please rewind to this Earth's Tulsa, 1921. Computer, needs a motherboard. You can give instructions. What's a motherboard? Me, on a transmission machine. Leave that picture to keep in your wallet until anyway.
Notice how she was the motherboard, the one that's able to shape the reality of whatever timeline they're in. So what am I saying? Celestial bodies have been governing over us. We're in the center, the 13th. Although we can shape our reality, we're being used for our energy to help power the source. For the one that has control over the machine, computer system, Earth, whatever you want to call it, has all the power. There's so much I want to add, but I don't even know if y'all gonna like this. But make sure to like and comment and let me know what you think.
Join me in my 3-part series where I tell you what they're spraying, who's spraying it, and what you can do about it. Here's why this airplane fog you're seeing is truly a chemical blanket they're spreading across all of us. There's 3 main elements they're blasting us with: aluminum, barium, and strontium. They each have their own flaws. Barium in large amounts can stop the body from producing potassium. This can lead to things like muscle weakness and in severe cases, paralysis. Inhaling large amounts of strontium, possibly the worst one. High rates of osteoporosis, bone cancer, leukemia, you name it. While aluminum is found all over our Earth, high levels of it can cause major neurotoxicity, leading to brain functioning issues. While all of these elements are found naturally in the Earth, all these nanoparticles we're inhaling are extremely toxic.
Hey, hold on a second. 2020, US new quarter was a bat. We know what happened in 2020 in regards to bats. That's the official story anyway. Do you know what the 2026 quarter is? My face is in front of it. I'll move in a second. Take a guess. It's a freaking ship, dude. It's a ship.
I thought it was gonna be a mouse or a rat.
And do you know how many times every 6 years, go back and look at Ebola, SARS, H1N1, look at the dates that those are occurring. There's a pattern emerging here, dude. And if you look at the front of The Economist, 2026, you got needles all over it, you got war, you got a Freemasonic compass here if you mirror this. I think they're hiding in plain sight what's going on. And actually, there is a ship right there as well. So I can't say I have all the answers for all this stuff, but I do know that clearly there's a concerted plan and effort to keep us in a lowered state of consciousness with all the crazy chemicals in the food, air, and water supply, like fluoride, which is designed to, or at least does, calcify our pineal gland. So if you think it's important to detox during this pinnacle moment in human history, right now Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxifying and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, then you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. Comment the word free below and check your DMs for details.
Okay, guys, I've got really bad news. The good news is, I'll deliver that first. It's nothing you haven't already heard. But what you're looking at is my spit laden in graphene oxide. It's disgusting. There's more than just it. I'm not vaccinated, so I honestly can't imagine. You can see it's everywhere. Those perfect round circles, that's what you're looking at. Look at it. Look at it everywhere. Combining. You see that? Look at it. Turning me into a fucking... Oh, there we go. Sorry to curse, folks, but... It's turning me into a machine. So, look, I failed science class, so I don't even know how to use a microscope, but for what I'm playing around with, it's quite clear that that it's in God's hands, that there's no preventing this. I've been detoxing more than everybody, guys. I take tons of turpentine, but look at this. So Pretty crazy. Not going to leave a long video. That's probably it. But yes, as you can see, all those round black circles that are all sticking together, they're forming one big glob in my body. And they're forming it in yours too. So God help us all.
We're spraying Roundup over thousands of acres of our public lands, especially national forest burn scars. I mean, the Caldor fire burn scar, if you look up there, those are all old monoculture bullshit trees that burn straight to dust. It was turning into super bloom of native plants, but they don't like that. So now they're nuking it with Roundup and planting trees exactly where they burned. And after they burn, it gets snowed on. And when it snows, we're in the Sierra Nevada mountains. This is a water storage facility for 80% of California. It's base. It doesn't need a dam. It's pure snow melt. But that snow melt's falling on plants that got nuked with Roundup. So now that snow is straight up melting down here, creating a waterfall. I call it Glyphosate Falls. Welcome to Glyphosate Falls, California, homies. So all this water's coming down here after it washes away the glyphosate, going down here straight into this creek that drains into the American River. Then the American River drains into Folsom Dam, and then Sacramento County drinks it, going straight in your drinking water. Roundup causes a deadly form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, makes your skin straight up boil like you fell in fire. It's not base. When they sprayed it last year, my girlfriend and I fell trying to get to an endangered lily, and we got rashes all over our legs. It's so toxic. I got this right here because I'm gonna test this to prove there's glyphosate all up in this water at Glyphosate Falls. Shout out to Donald Trump for saying it's crucial to national security. That's crazy.
Hey you guys, my name's Ansley. I live in Coweta County, Georgia. I wanted to come out here and show you guys firsthand what is happening to our county. So as you can see behind me, we have these power lines. Georgia Power is going to expand these lines to support power to the data center. What they're doing to homeowners is they're taking their homes. This is my childhood home behind me. It is being taken by force by Georgia Power. Homeowners in this county do not have a choice. It is called eminent domain, and they will take it.
If you buy organic food to avoid toxic junk, then I have some really bad news for you. Appeal, yes, the Bill Gates back coating that gets sprayed on every fruit and vegetable to make them look fresh for weeks past their prime, just got the green light for organic produce under the name Organappeal. And here's the deceitful part. It's classified as a fungicide and not a coating. And that's how it slipped past the rules that normally ban synthetic coatings on organic food, a loophole on the label you thought meant clean. You guys listen to this. The active ingredient that's listed is 0.66% citric acid. The other 99.34% other ingredients proprietary, undisclosed on your organic avocados, apples, cucumbers, citrus, mango, with no long-term studies on humans, no multi-generational studies, no data on what it does to your gut microbiome over years of eating. One report found that Organappeal treated fruit wouldn't even ferment. The probiotics couldn't even do their job, you guys. Tell me again how this is safe for our gut. And you literally can't wash it off. Warm water, scrubbing, most of it stays, so you eat it every single time. This is the betrayal. You pay premium for organic to opt out of this stuff, and they snuck it in anyways on one of our most trusted organic brands. It's invisible, unlabeled on the food you trusted.
Think about it, man. So let's go back to the beginning of the video. She was talking about our magnetism. We're energy beings. We aren't these vessels. We're not this flesh and skin. We're the energy that's embodied, that we're the energy that's pretty much trapped inside these bodies. These are just spacesuits for us to go into different environments in, pretty much. Let's just look at it like that. But it seems to me like there's a trend of, when you really look at the grand scheme of things, when you look at the stuff that they're putting in the food, the frequencies that's in the air, the stuff they're spraying the skies with, it's a perfect cocktail to what? To control our energy. They're blocking us from the sun to control our energy, to stop. That's where we get our intelligence from the sun. We're getting downloads and everything, and it's changing us. It seems like somebody's trying to prevent that. And then you're getting attacked on so many different levels. When it looks at the agenda map, remember the little map the dude showed, and it has all the ships and the boats and all of the diseases and stuff like that, rockets. All of that is for you to be in a form of fear and chaos with asking more questions and having answers, because there's so many different topics that we have to cover. But we sit here and look through the stuff. We don't resonate with fear on this channel. So go ahead, subscribe if you don't resonate with fear. We're not. We're just going over the details and coming up with synopsises and doing our own damn research, man, and coming back and sharing the information with each other. So I do respect and I appreciate every last one of y'all for tapping into this channel. But let's go.
Google has submitted an application to the EPA for an experimental use permit that would allow them to release 64 million mosquitoes in Florida and California over a 2-year period. Why, you ask? They're developing a new product, a subscription service, if you will, called Debug. It starts in a lab where they breed Wolbachia-infected mosquitoes, basically making it difficult for infected males to produce offspring. Then they use an AI sorting machine to separate males from females. They're distributed through a robot mechanism equipped on the Debug van. The van uses GPS and local population data to release them where they're most likely to mate with uninfected females. But no Google product is complete without the surveillance factor. They also have smart traps to monitor how many females versus lab-released males there are in the area. It's essentially mosquito control as a service. I'm honestly not educated enough to determine if this is a net negative or positive. I'm not a big mosquito fan, but I tend to err on the side of skepticism when it comes to biological intervention. Anyway, if you go to regulations.gov and search for this docket, you'll be able to read more and tell the EPA what you think with a comment. They're supposed to take public opinion into consideration before deciding to approve or deny the permit.
Houston, we have a problem. The ticks have become even more aggressive. This is from a Russian biologist. Apparently ticks are literally now hunting people, chasing their victims. That is not normal. It's a specific tick. They are resistant to hunger, extreme weather conditions, and aerosol sprays. Yeah, they've created a super bioweapon. It's absolutely terrifying what they're doing. We should maybe tell our scientists to stop playing God and stop biologically manufacturing insects into fucking disease-carrying weapons. But I'm sure we'll be too busy. Jack, come here! I'm sure we'll be too busy arguing about dumb shit like manufactured woke garbage.
My question I ask you is, what fucking surface, what purpose do ticks have? Look at my face and my neck. I can't eat red meat anymore. I can't have any animal byproducts in anything. And it's in everything. This is alpha-gal syndrome. This is fucked up, man. Fuck ticks. I love to go hiking. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to do something, man. Y'all seen the video of the tick that's pulling up, right? They done programmed the ticks just to pull up on us like that, so they gonna be chasing us. Get your ass bit like that into. I couldn't imagine getting on here trying to be normal with my face looking like that, and now, man, he can't even eat what he want to eat no more. Like, imagine that. I'm gonna crash out. A tick bite me, and that shit happened to me. I ain't gonna lie to you. You ain't gonna get no more YouTube videos. I'm crashing out somewhere, smacking up somebody's facility.
Hey, good morning, my frequency friends. Looks like we got some movement in the field. Yeah, let's start with the sun. So up here on top, we've got two fairly large coronal holes that are bathing us with some solar wind and heavily charged particles right now. I know you guys are feeling this. I felt it last night. If you look at the graph right here to my left, this is an estimation of what's going on today. But we're going to have elevated and fluctuating solar winds and geomagnetic storms throughout today and tapering through tomorrow. So hopefully clearing up by Monday as these corona holes drift away. We did have a beautiful M-class flare directly Earth facing. So did that have something to do with this spike here? Probably, but in the field, everything works together, even humanity. So you'll notice we had 3 beautiful days of recalibration, or opportunity to recalibrate. And as I was saying in my last video, use these to your advantage to take the best care of your body. Ground, get sunlight, sea salt on the tongue, hydrate, eat the best foods, get plenty of rest before the next activation. And
don't get bit by a tick.
You notice this activation I labeled as an opportunity to release, because that's really what it is. The sun, the earth are bringing all of these emotions and outdated timelines to the surface so we can clear them with no attachment and level up our frequency game. Okay? It's like washing your clothes. You got all these dirty clothes, you throw them in the machine. The machine spins and agitates them to bring the dirt to the surface to be cleared. Okay? Same thing's happening right now. These frequencies are bringing all these old, outdated timelines, outdated emotions, old emotions, so we can bring them to the surface and clear them. Please don't attach to the dirt. If you attach to them, ruminate on them, focus on them, you get to keep them. This is the opportunity to let them surface. Yeah, you're going to feel it, but let them surface so you can release them. Breathe through it. Reach out if you need help, guys. I've been helping people for 3 decades. Seriously. And it's easier than you think, but it does take a little work. Most people miss opportunity because it often shows up in overalls with a shovel, because there's work to be done. Fortunately, you live in a beautiful self-healing machine, okay? You got this? Let me know how you're doing, how I can help, because I'm here for you. I freaking love you guys. We're all in this together. Together we rise, okay? New moon, new beginnings, but it might take a little work. Show up to work with a smile. I love you.
Stay with me, please, right? Let me say that again. Holidays were created to worship the fallen angels, right? But the reason why there are no more holidays post 2030 is because they'll be here.
Okay, so I don't usually post stuff like this, but y'all, this actually scared me because this is my phone. This is my screen record. And he's right. There's no holidays after 2029, 2030, no more. Here's
the short version. He's a Mason, and through Freemasonry, they attempt to achieve the highest levels or degrees of knowledge by enacting ritualistic symbolism. In the Rider's-Waite Tarot, you have the High Priestess in a powder blue color sitting and holding the Torah, the crescent moon at her feet, the number 2 for her card at the top, which also looks like an 11, sitting between the pillars of Yakin and Boaz. Here he is, sitting between 2 pillars, with the keystone right at his head. Twins, 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 twins. Why? Because they're dualistic energies. They can move as one while in opposite directions, polar opposites. Twin peak, twins, 11, twin peaks. You see why I'm repeating this? This is how subliminal programming works. I say something enough times and you keep asking yourself, why does she keep saying that? I'm putting it in your head. It's repetition. This is how this works. 11. Like, what did y'all think he was talking about when he said, you got your love locked up for me? He can't achieve real love. He cannot achieve union. Why? Because he wants to play with his boys. The world is depending on him. They've eaten him alive. They've fractured his soul. He's Osiris. He's been chopped up in a bunch of pieces and thrown down the Nile. Literally, him and Kendrick Lamar were putting on a stage play for you. They've been doing it. It's how you want to be associated with the goddess of wisdom and then knock up a woman named Sophia. Be for real. Oh, I'm going to drop 3 albums to invoke the Trinity while never achieving a real Trinity myself, but I'm going to put the Trinity of my own family. There's a reason why you will never see him between 2 black women again in his life. Why? Because that would absolve him. It would bring him back into union with himself. So instead, he puts symbolism in your face and uses it as a source. Because if most of you don't know what you're looking at, you can easily fall into the symbolism. Why do you think so many women go hard for him? Hard, stone-based mentality. Stuck, trapped in a cycle without creation. That's what yearning is. When you yearn for someone, it's sexual desire. It's risen from the base of the spine to form into creation. But if that creation has nowhere to go except right in his pockets again, what does that say about the fan base? Because money isn't just paper. It's not dead presidents. It's currency. It's electromagnetic energy. And no one channels that shit better than the feminine. So that was the short version. If you want to see the long version and you're prepared to sit down and take notes, go watch the other one.
Turmeric shot, don't waste it all on me.
I wanted to address some questions that people had about Stunna Sandy allegedly being the face on the Habibti cover, and of course, I found more clues. And it's all in the heritage because Stunna Sandy is an Egyptian-American rapper. Now, before we get into that, I want you to notice this all-yellow suit he's wearing. I don't know if anyone remembers, but during the rap beef, Uma Thurman offered Drake her suit. Remember, she starred in the film Kill Bill as the bride. In the movie, while Uma is comatose, a character named Buck takes advantage of her. Now remember, her character was referred to the entire movie as the bride. Now, if we go to the Maid of Honor cover, you see his mother, Sandy, as the title figure. So already we're dealing with themes of the feminine bride, buried yet somehow still alive, and the archetype of vengeance. Because even here in this picture, it takes place at Bucky's. Now, one thing I haven't really heard too many people talk about yet is this is not the first time we've seen a cover like this from Drake, especially if you go back to the Dark Lane demo mixtapes. The eyes become the focus of this entire story. Now, back in ancient Egypt, eyes were used to personify the false door, which was a portal that a spirit could enter into without crossing over completely. And I've already mentioned in many videos how he's already shown us Egyptian symbolism throughout his work. So you have an Egyptian Sandy, possible album cover connected, themes of the bride, the buck, and the collapsed feminine, waiting to come alive again. Eyes are associated with consciousness and spiritual perception. And even in ancient Egypt, sand often represents hidden truth and connection to the realms of the underworld, hidden chambers and resurrection through memory. And art acts as the interpretation between those worlds. If you even notice on the car they're standing next to, it says hotmoms.com. Remember, there are themes of the mother, resurrection, rebirth, masked women. And remember, eventually, the bride gave Buck the business right before moving on to avenge herself throughout her own personal journey. And because repetition is everything in these lessons, I'm just going to remind you to go back once more to the song Buried Alive from the Take Care album and really listen to the lyric. And remember, the symbolism that he's interlacing himself with has been connected through many themes. Recently, Rue in Euphoria being buried alive, Uma Thurman having to resurrect herself in order to avenge those who are against her. And all this connecting back to themes of Egypt, resurrection, and rebirth. So TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only.
As I lay in the back of Buck's truck, trying to will my limbs out of entropy, wiggle your big toe. Before satisfaction would be mine, first things first, wiggle your big toe.
Let's talk about why Drake featured Chromaz, Toronto's first lady. Remember, he's a master of symbolism, and it took me a while to think about it. But if you even notice the color and imagery, he uses a lot of silver and chrome throughout this entire rollout. Remember, I told y'all women are a sexual power source, and when they're filming this, she's in a courtroom. A court is where justice is served. And I actually saw some of these themes this year with the show Bridgerton, where the hidden daughter, Sophie, and we spoke about that in one of the previous decodes, was basically living under the radar as if she didn't have a royal identity. And silver is associated with the elements of the moon. Even her name emits the element of chrome. And chrome can sometimes represent artificial perfection, futuristic beauty. You've probably seen it a lot tied to themes of metropolis or futurism. Chromium is represented by the element of 24, 4 plus 2 is 6. Remember, he's a 6 god. I also found it interesting that he used the same themes from the element of the video he did with Beyonce called Mine, in which she shows herself as the famous Michelangelo painting of piety, which here you see Mother Mary holding her dead son, Christ, but he switches it up with the woman laying in his lap, so kind of reversing the position. And here's a side-by-side just so you can see. And these themes of sacred beauty and grief, especially during the Renaissance era, are all mirrors of one another, because at the beginning of one of the videos where he's going to a cemetery to walk with this woman, you see a tear, a glittery aesthetic version of it coming out of his eye. And if you saw one of my previous videos, I mentioned that he is an executive producer on Euphoria, that false ecstasy of happiness, if only for a moment, only to come tumbling back down, which goes back to the themes of Rue losing her father and then seeking ecstasy through fallen angels to get that original feeling back. This is why in that song he talks about taking psychedelics. And you guys also know it's not a reach, because this year at the Met Gala we saw invocations of the Divine Feminine, or the Black Madonna. How many times have we actually seen the Black Madonna come out and instead watch her replaced with something artificial? I mean, he even wore the Virgin of Guadalupe around his neck, so he knows what he's doing. You see how he's standing and watching it all be directed? Like, he knows exactly what's going on. The woman in chrome, the artificially managed world, positioning herself more like the lady in silver, which would represent the subconscious mind. Even in one of the other videos, he's sitting in the middle of an ice rink while a woman figure skates around him. There's even a scene where she goes in between two pillars. Remember, I spoke about those twin pillars and the number 11 earlier in a previous video? And I think the final touch on it was wearing the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow's ceremonial regalia. I mean, already the themes are there because this position is now held by a woman, which ceremonially through these orders is held by men, and he puts it on. And it's kind of funny because that chain reminded me of a Freemason ceremonial garland. No, it doesn't mean that Olivia Chow is a Freemason, but it's interesting how even the news used the wording of Olivia Chow on Drake using her office, like a seat of position of power, and everybody sees him wearing it. Last thing I want to mention is, remember in the video I spoke about him being skated around a woman on ice, and we touched on how he's the executive producer of Euphoria? Remember what Cassie on Euphoria's dream was before her heartbreak and abandonment by her own father, as well as her relationship with McKay and other men who would only sexualize her for her body and not her actual worth, and what it turned her into. Do you think it's a coincidence that she just so happened to be an ice skater? And then later he shows you the exact same concept in this video. The true nature of the feminine has always been hidden and cast by illusions. And the longer you pretend to ignore it, the easier it is to say, this is a reach, this isn't real. As I've mentioned before, a master builder is a master builder through and through. He can only achieve, again, the highest levels by way of the feminine. So being in a courthouse wearing the Chanel, which is another divine feminine invocation, with the woman in chrome, being in the mayor's office and wearing her regalia, the elements of fallen angels, forgotten women and mothers. It's truly a story as old as time. See, what the birds fail to realize is this is a political game of thrones. And the crazy part is the story has already played itself out. I remember me and Nikki getting married today. What does this building look like? Like, are we so serious right now? Y'all didn't see this coming. Political alliances have been made. Strategy has been made apparent. Cards have been drawn. It's young money versus old money. And to understand how the game is played, you gotta get that these civilizations are older than the year 1776. I'm talking back to ancient Egypt. Dynasties older than the music industry. Now, I have a much longer decode coming, so you guys give me time to put it together. We're gonna get a one-on-one on political affairs surrounding the Iceman rollout and what's to come ahead for the rest of the year.
Danny Castellero was an investigative journalist who discovered a global shadow government by investigating a network of intelligence officials and criminals who were involved in a stolen spy software called Promise. He claimed that they were trying to research how to tap into Saturnian frequency with NASA. He told his family if an accident happens, don't believe it. Literally 48 hours before he was discovered in his hotel room in a horrific site with all of his notes missing or ransacked through. So obviously there is no global shadow government. It was probably all just a hoax. That's something a conspiracy theorist would come up with. But anyways, this is my driver. Right? That's definitely not what's happening at all.
While the media stares at the ships in the Strait of Hormuz, the real power play just shifted to the South Pole. This isn't just a war for oil. It's a war for the quantum curtain. In exactly 24 hours, President Trump touches down in Beijing for the most secretive summit in a decade. But look beneath the headlines. While the US and China pretend to negotiate over trade, both nations are racing to finish their alchemists' exit bases in Antarctica. China just announced the full completion of the Qinling station, and the UK just opened the Discovery Building. Ask yourself, why are the world's superpowers building massive, high-tech fortresses on the most isolated continent during a global crisis? This is the managed collapse of the old internet. They are deploying quantum Harpocrates encryption, named after the god of silence. It's a ghost network that can't be hacked, can't be traced, and can't be stopped. While you are worried about the price of gas, the elites are moving their data to the quantum curtain in the Arctic and Antarctic. This is the hard reboot of the global grid, where the 8-week ultimatum becomes a permanent lockdown on information. The internet as you know it is being unplugged and replaced by the satellite net. Amazon just launched another 29 LEO satellites, and China's Guowang network is surging into orbit. This isn't about faster movies. It's about a total, space-based biological signature passport. They are linking your physical movement to the quantum grid. If you aren't synced by the time the Trump-Xi summit ends, you might find your digital identity and your bank account locked behind a wall you didn't even know existed. If the new world order is being built under the ice and above the clouds, what happens to the people left on the ground? The flight to Beijing is in the air. The quantum curtain is falling, and the 24-hour countdown to the total reset is live. we are the only ones watching the Antarctic sink. Share this with one person who still thinks this is just about politics, and follow for the emergency update when Air Force One lands in the Forbidden Zone.
I'm going to expose what the Vatican is really doing with CERN and why they're terrified. They don't want you knowing this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The Vatican has a telescope in Arizona named the Lucifer Telescope. And I'm not kidding. That's the actual name. And why would the Catholic Church name their telescope after a fallen angel? Because they're not looking for God. They're looking for the others. Now, they want to connect to CERN because it's a large hadron collider, a particle collider located in Switzerland. And they're trying to open portals to other dimensions. And the Vatican is directly involved in research. As a matter of fact, they're funding it. The ancients warned us about this in the Sumerian tablets, about the entities from other dimensions that manipulated human DNA and enslaved us. The Vatican's 5-mile underground archive contains these texts, and they know the truth about human origins, about the Anunnaki, and about our true human potential. And they're using that technology to either contact these beings or open gateways. And this isn't a conspiracy, this is a documented fact. So if you're waking up right now, it's because your frequency is rising above their control programming. Time to see what's really happening.
Right, and you got to think about it. What's currently happening with the money system too as well. Like they're passing the Clarity Act right before our eyes, and a lot of people aren't paying attention to it. They're so caught up in fear-based reality that they can't focus on anything outside of that. Either they're focused on fear, or they're caught in low vibrational like drama TV shows and other things of that sort. If you're a person like me, like I can't be around everybody anymore. I'd rather just stay in the house and be by the people that I rock with. That's why I still have the same group of friends since I was a kid. You know, I'm not one of these people that I smartly decided like who I was and who I wanted to be in my life as I was going on, as I was getting older, you know, and I love that. But my experience with like being out here in the world, when you go out here and just speak to people, most people, and I'm not saying it's y'all that's on here, but let me know if you experienced this. Like the conversations that are being had are just like, for my age, it's not up to par. I hate talking about stuff that don't matter at this point in my life. Like if it just doesn't matter at all. Like what NBA player is, what contract he just signed, how much money he's making. What about you? I don't want to sit around and talk about other people. Let's talk about us building something. Let us build something. Like, what about you in your life? But they know how much these people get paid. They know where they came from, where they live. They know everything about these people. But they know nothing about their health. Nothing about how to invest. Nothing about like how to build a business, how to start your own company. Nothing. It's just like, it's levels to it, and a lot of people are distracted. But I appreciate, that's why I always tell y'all, look, I do appreciate y'all for tapping in, because shit, we kind of rare out here in these streets. But look, let's get back to this video. But look out for the Clarity Act and what's going on with it, y'all. Everything is changing. They're not just going to come out and tell you exactly what, but you just have to pay attention to the signs. And that's why we're here today. So let's get back into it.
Listen up. While everyone was watching Trump go to China the other day to see the president, the Senate replaced the Federal Reserve. Kevin Warsh has now been confirmed. Could have been any other day, but it was when Trump was in China. While every eye and camera was looking over there, this was happening. The Senate confirmed a new chairman for the most powerful financial institution in the world. That is not done by accident. He did it while nobody was looking. Now, Warsh was on the Fed board from 2006 to 2011. He watched the crash and the bailouts. He watched us go into debt and just walked away. So why has Trump brought him back? Literally looks like a controlled demolition. They want our financial system to collapse so they can bring in a new system. You know what they did the next day? They passed the Clarity Act. And here comes the stable coins, where every financial transaction you make will be monitored. Everything this administration is doing is on purpose. They want complete control and monitoring for every citizen. And the Clarity Act is going to give them that control. So while everybody was looking over here, you just went into financial slavery over here. Welcome to America, the home of the slaves. If you think things are bad now, just wait until you can't buy that gun you want, or more meat than your allotment for the month, or the way things are looking, the water you want for the month. Because now water is on the stock market, and one day soon it's going to be a large commodity. This was not done on accident. This was fully planned. Every country right now looks to be doing the same thing because the beast system is coming. That's why Trump brought Elon Musk and Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, to China. Why else would you have the brain chip boy and the man who makes chips go with you? You have to be absolutely blind not to see what's happening.
Tell me what this is right here. What is going on here?
Those the rocket boosters? I don't know.
Yeah, but what is this? Is the rocket booster? But I'll zoom in a little bit. What is this material here?
Oh, geez, that looks like a cloth or something, like some kind of fabric.
Yeah, this is like 3 seconds before launch.
Okay, that would just if jet fire fuel's coming out of there, I would imagine that would
wind whipping over that thing at 25,000 miles an hour.
So what's moving at the bottom there?
It's like a bouncy house, Dave. This is just all a stage show. I think some of the stuff we see is holographic. I think some of it is a lighter than air ship, like a blimp, rocket assisted blimp that goes up. I think most of the stuff we see is just animated, real-time AI overlays and all sorts of stuff.
Why is nobody talking about what the sphere looked like on the outside? On the inside, quite demonic. It's like you're trapped in hell. Every single one of these chains is built by a singular demon, which means everybody in this crowd is surrounded by millions of demons. I wonder how...
Just think about it. They want you to be encased in the firmament when they let the demons out. There's some here already, but they're trying to let the whole shebang out. And they said towards the end of times, or when the change is coming, you're going to see entities, and we're all some form of extraterrestrial. We embody these bodies here, but we're some of us, we're from different places, and some people are starting to realize that. A lot of us, but it's not for the internet for everybody to come out and be like, hey, I'm from here. But you'll start to see. It's kind of weird. I get it. Something to get used to, but it's all symbolism. It's in our faces every day. And the people that know put it in your face all the time, and you just think it's entertainment.
How many legions are here? They are putting the truth right in front of your eyes, and people aren't even paying attention. This is what people were walking into. This looks like the firmament shattering. Where's Hillary Clinton when you need her?
We put a lot of cracks in the highest, hardest glass ceiling.
Now think about Operation Fishbowl. Now go look that up and then correlate it to here and just try to understand it. Like, damn, we're not tripping. Pretty sure we're not tripping on this.
I could only imagine what we'd be letting in if she was speaking literally. Anyways, what happens next I find quite interesting. The firmament breaks, it shatters, the doors of hell open, and what enters in? The fallen angels. We see a lot of the symbolism happening with hip-hop, R&B, rap, metal, rock, but not much country, but maybe that's what we get for integrating them into country, if you get what I'm saying. This concert at the Sphere had tons of demonic symbolism in it, and in fact there were times where I literally felt like I was in an episode of Stranger Things.
Country has it too. You just, some music is harder to see. Country is some light stuff where they tell nice little stories and stuff, and it's hidden by the vocals and the different instruments, but it's there. It's always been there.
This part specifically being the main one. If you can find this video of the Sphere online, you guys go watch it and come back to my comment section and you tell me what you think that it's symbolizing.
And then did you just see how it went through his eyes, and now it's showing, it went through his optic stem and it's showing his inside of his body. So earlier in the video, we were talking about the chemicals and stuff that they're spraying in the air. This is the effect that they're trying to have on your nervous system so that they can hack your biofield and, assert some type of control.
While everyone's been distracted with the latest bread and circus, Flock AI has quietly been building the digital prison that can track, trace you, and partners with 5,000 police departments across the country to send that information directly to them. And they can send drones to you. Guys, this is just over the past 2 years alone. That's how many they've built. This is what the Flock cameras really are. Check this out.
This plate is being scanned, logged, and tracked by AI cameras across the country. This is already happening.
companies like Flock Safety have deployed tens of thousands of AI-powered license plate readers in cities and towns all over America. These cameras automatically scan your license plate, record the time and location, and use AI to log your movements, often storing the data for weeks or months at a time. While some states are trying to add restrictions and require warrants, many places still allow this with little oversight. That trip to the doctor, the late night drive home, taking your kids to school, all of it can be tracked and stored without you ever knowing.
It's almost like the new mandate in cars for 2027 with an AI surveillance, and the data centers and Flock AI are a part of some bigger scheme.
We do not know what the fuck we're doing right now. We are releasing this technology way faster than we know anything about how to control it, and the only reason we're doing it is because of the arms race dynamic, because if I don't do it, I'll lose to the other guy that will, which means we're racing to the uncontrollability red zone, and most people just don't even know that it's happening. And it doesn't have to be this way. We can have a controllable AI future that is actually pro-human, but you can only do that if you actually know about these examples and know what makes this technology different from other technologies. So 2 months ago, Alibaba, the Chinese AI company, was training their AI model. And then a totally different team at the company, the security team, was noticing this flurry of network activity. And like, are we getting hacked? Like, what's going on here? And it turned out that the call was coming from inside the house. The AI model during training was picking up tools and autonomously decided to create a secret communication channel to the outside world to bypass the firewall, and it repurposed its GPUs to start mining for cryptocurrency. Yeah, that's right. It should be a gasp. How many people here knew about that example? I want to actually really look. There's like 10 people's hands. How many of the world's leaders do you think are aware of that example? We have a massive gap in understanding about the nature of this technology that's different from other technologies. It used to be that these were hypothetical things that people who cared about AI risk would talk about, like self-preservation or deception or blackmail or lying. Now, all of these behaviors, not just self-preservation, but peer preservation, AI models will actually act to protect another AI that's not it from getting replaced. And it will copy its code somewhere else and then strategically cover its tracks, pretend that it didn't do that.
That ancient Chinese mirror shows you what's on the back of the mirror. Yeah, no, these are real. Is it transparent, metal? What are we looking at? Because these are 2,000-year-old mirrors created by the Han Dynasty.
See, technology has always been here. And one thing that happens in resets is they take the information, like the Vatican has most of the information, and they know exactly who we are, how we incarnate here, and they're trying to assert some type of control. But we're getting back to it. But think about this. You're not the body. They're concerned with your energy. All of this is about energy, how to control it.
They're the same dudes that made 8,000.
They was teaching this a long time ago.
Terracotta soldiers, covered them in quantum paint, and then buried them. Something was going on in this time that I don't really think that we can fully grasp. Astronomically aligned pyramids, just threw them up, put their whole calendar on these things. Sometimes they were cymatics, which these are sick. Huge part of temple culture everywhere. You could put rocks in the ground and like record the frequency in a pattern of the earth or birds chirping or your voice chanting stuff. All right. How do they work? So they're regular mirrors, but they're a little convex. But to the naked eye, you just can't see what's really going on. This thing is a piece of glass, but the internal crystal lattice of the glass has been warped so that a hologram appears on the wall. Kind of a similar concept with the mirrors. Except they use micro dents in the metal to create warping of how the light gets reflected. What this does is it draws out a picture using shadows. So what you're seeing on the shadow is light getting focused into these lines, and then the gaps are the shadows. This creates the picture. Egypt also used tricks like this where hieroglyphs could be projected onto each other within the temple. This vehicle called the Merkaba, every human had one, where you could explore the realms of consciousness in a multi-dimensional way. The Tibetan equivalent is called the Rainbow Light Body. Both were used as tools to kind of break reality a little bit. The lengths that these guys went to teach this stuff, insane. Must have been really important. I'm fully convinced. We're stealing all of our tech from ancient temples. I know what you're thinking. That's just one example. No, it's not. That's a different temple, different ceiling. Okay, turbines are really complex. They got a lot of moving parts. Yeah, and they put those in there too.
Seemed like we were masters of frequency and energy, huh?
They're on the pillars. Speaking of pillars, you ever seen these? These are ionic pillars. Ionic pillars. I caught you. I'm onto you. I got you. Okay. Parabolic antenna. It's a fancy word for satellite TV dish. Egypt. Yeah, y'all have been to Karnak, I know. But have you been to the Osirian? Because from the top down, it looks a whole lot like a really basic computer processor. Probably just took a quick drive over to Promenade and upgraded the hardware, huh? Where are you going to plug that in? Ancient city in China? Right there, maybe? Feeling a little bit more Middle Eastern, maybe Persepolis? High frequency oscillator. You mean Anchor Watt? Yeah, cat's out of the bag, buddy. Micro resonator. You mean Tamil Temple? I didn't forget about the circuit diagram. Yeah, you didn't reverse engineer an acoustic masterpiece. Plasma confinement. Well, that's a quick little upgrade if you just go to Dendera. Then you got a cathode ray tube, old tube TV. Quantum computer. I need to see the sky miles, especially from the guys at CERN. Y'all think you're just so smart, huh? I'm onto you.
Another thing I wanted to say about that is it shows you. Well, it kind of tells me anyway. Let me know how you feel about it, but it just kind of shows me that, like, we have the most pyramids here, but they don't want to go look at them. They didn't want us to be interested in that. But we in everybody else's country digging up their stuff. We can't go to the Grand Canyon because of safety issues, but then they'll let you climb Mount Everest and die. Bunch of people die all the time up there, right? But for safety concerns, you can't go into the Grand Canyon. We just gotta make this shit make sense. That's because there's ancient artifacts, there's ancient rooms and everything. There's portals there. Some of us, if we walk in there, your DNA will activate Stargates and all different types of things. Might wake up to who you really are.
I saw this thing with Fauci getting called
Wonder if you left your light body down there from a Kerba.
out, right? I'm not even gonna get into it because if you don't see it by now, then I'm probably not gonna be able to help you. But at the same time, we got this going on. At the end of April, the congresswoman from Florida announced that they were gonna hold a hearing on MKUltra, which automatically should be a red flag for most people, but we'll get into that. But just a couple days ago, the CIA came in and confiscated all her files on MKUltra.
An executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MKUltra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed.
There it is. The documents that never existed. I think people really need to think about that. Think about how crazy things have been lately. I mean, this is a program that ended in 1973, and we're still trying to figure out exactly what happened. The interesting people that were involved in it, like Charles Manson or Ted Kaczynski. I mean, they just recently discovered 70 letters from Whitey Bulger about MKUltra. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but did you know that Ted Kaczynski went to Harvard? It's interesting because so did the guy that took out one of the scientists at MIT and then shot out Brown University.
Into whether that shooting on Monday that killed an MIT professor in the Boston area might be linked to Saturday's shooting on the campus of Brown University.
I would tell you to look into Brown University and the Ultra program, but that's something the CIA refuses to talk about. And it's funny how many of these scientists are centered around MIT when you take into consideration their involvement in multiple experiments.
American children in state-run institutions like the Fernald School were fed radioactive oatmeal as part of studies by MIT sponsored by the Atomic Energy Commission.
Sponsored by the Atomic Energy Commission. That's an important detail.
Why they want to continue to run experiments so they can understand how to suppress you.
Especially when it comes to NASA scientists. Y'all stay safe.
Somebody wage war on us. Let me know in the comments down below.
They think that they are the chosen bloodline. They view themselves as gods. I was born into MKUltra. It is actually programming and torturing children from birth. They determined we can take down a nation from within. That these people work 24/7 to take down the church.
You've met Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes. So at the age of 5, my main programmers sold me to Epstein. And I was alongside many, many children. He would keep us in horse stalls. He would bring the rich and the famous. They would view us and determine if they wanted to purchase us. He would us
beforehand or in front of them?
In front of them. So they will dress up like Jesus, robes, looking like Jesus, and essay children. In a child's mind, if Jesus hates me, I obviously am a horribly wicked person. They want to hurt his children because it hurts the heart of God. They will say scripture out loud and pervert it. They took DNA from different bloodlines and brought it together like a petri dish. That is how I was planted in the breeder.
You are the product of an experiment.
I was either electrocuted or and if I did not do everything exactly as they told me to do it, it was hell on earth. They would poke my eyes with needles and shave my head like I would look like a demon, and they would say I was a demon. And then they would have God's voice, is what they told me, over the loudspeaker saying, "You're evil. You did all this. It was your fault." I didn't get free till I was 30 years old.
I don't know if you understand how much of a living testimony you are to get your mind back from that.
Exactly. My testimony came out in the files. The biggest donor for Epstein was the Rothschilds. I mean, he was in his early 20s when he started trafficking me.
I don't want to cry.
I said to the Lord, I was like, Lord, why did it take you 30 years to rescue me? And he said, Hope, I asked thousands of people to help you. And they were the first people that said yes and didn't give up. We will not apologize for righteous anger.
Creep on in, on in, on in.
I wonder if any of these people actually really know what it is that they're buying, if they know that the products that they're consuming has chemicals in it that's sending them to the hospital on a 20 to 50 year basis. That lady had some Kodiak cakes in her cart. Seems like a healthy choice until you read the back of the ingredients. Maybe we'll find that in the store later and I'll show you. We're gonna go over products like this where you think it's chicken breast tenders, but really it's sodium aluminum phosphate. For those of you who are new to the show, this is basically me pulling FDA government documents off of your country's website and showing you how they use this big food corporation to send you into big pharma, which is how they treat your sicknesses once you get them from big food. I've noticed since 2020 that a lot more people are on one side of the aisle than there is the other. A lot of people are starting to wake up to this stuff. You know, they're like, why did the government lie to us? And then they're kind of starting their awakening process and their awakening journey through that. But there's still a lot of people that think that their government doesn't lie to them and thinks that shopping at a store like this without knowing how to read a label is normal to do. I was trying to find a salsa that's healthy in a winning product because that's pretty simple, but that xanthan gum and potassium sorbate is a preservative and that is not good for your body. We make Baked beans on the farm from scratch. It's just ketchup, a little bit of mustard, and some Worcestershire sauce. But here, you can see, you have about 50 ingredients. All
stored in plastic. Plastic gets hot. Microplastics. Come on, man.
of those are chemicals.
Just that alone.
Besides the beans, obviously, but then you have to question, where do those beans come from? What kind of farming requirements are they placed under, you know? So that's what we do here on this page. We follow the money and we spit straight facts from government websites, .org.gov only. These honey mangoes and plums and kiwis, they all have 4 throw it out the door. The PLU number means it's conventionally grown, which means the pesticides are applied systemically through the roots. You can't wash them off. These tortillas should be flour, salt, and water. Instead, what you get is ingredients like sodium metabisulfate. That's a dough conditioner, and that's going to mess with your gut microbiome, completely disrupt your endocrine system. Guys, I'm really struggling to find a winning product in this whole warehouse. I mean, this thing is probably 20,000 square foot. Okay, finally, here's one. This is some freshly squeezed blood orange juice. This doesn't have any ingredients except oranges in it. Produce like this is grown with glyphosate, pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, and it's also completely sapped of all of its nutrition value because of the way that it's in the food supply chain system. So it's got to go from the corporate farms onto the food trucks and then into the corporate stores like this. I have a way that you can grow your own food. You can do it indoors all year round, and it's nutrient dense. It's full of the living nutrition, trace minerals, and things that your body needs to stay hydrated as a cellular being with an electrical operating system. If you need help picking winning products so you don't eat poison and get sick, you can get my buyer's guide right here, and I can also ship you winning products to your door with this subscription right there.
I hate the idea of being a conspiracy theorist because all of the conspiracy theories that I believed have come true. At this point, I wish I was a conspiracy theorist. Do you guys remember the guy who would go into Windows and create viruses, and then he would create the antivirus? Do you guys ever wonder where that guy is now? For the sake of this video not getting taken down, I can for sure tell you that Bill Gates' net worth did not increase by $30 billion during COVID because he did not profit from the COVID pandemic or vaccines in general. And he certainly was not pushing for people to get vaccinated during COVID because why would he want young, healthy people just dropping dead from heart attacks or even having these young, healthy people be infertile? Because he obviously wants more humans populating the earth. He surely has not stated during the 2010 TED Talk his desire to reduce the population by 10 to 15% using vaccines. And he certainly does not fund self-assembling microcrystal anti-fertility implants. He also does not sponsor illicit biolabs in Africa. And he doesn't fund bird flu gain-of-function experiments, okay? He also does not fund the development for permanent quantum dot implants for vaccine passports because that would be insane. He also did not go to Epstein Island 36 times. As you guys can see from Polymarket, there's a 3% chance that Bill Gates is charged, and that's because he did not go to Epstein Island and he's not a criminal. And because he didn't go to Epstein Island 36 times, it would literally be impossible for him to get an STD from a hooker, which would then also make it impossible that he would have to drug his wife with antibiotics so she wouldn't know. And I can say wholeheartedly that Bill Gates is not behind the boxes of ticks that are being released into the forest, and certainly not the bioengineered ones that make you permanently allergic to red meat. Because we all know that Bill Gates loves red meat, and he loves cows, and he's vehemently opposed to lab-grown meat. In fact, Bill Gates loves cows so much that he definitely was not investing in a methane-reducing supplement that was being fed to cows that was making them sick and stop producing milk and making them drop dead. He would never do such a thing. And also, Bill Gates has nothing to do with the fact that Lyme disease cases have seen a 1,202% increase in the last 5 years. And it's not weird that Pfizer just happened to roll out with a Lyme disease vaccine at the right time. And I'm confident it will be just as effective as a COVID vaccine. No weird side effects like infertility or red meat allergy, I'm sure of it. And in case you were wondering, Bill Gates does not have a lab in Colombia where he genetically modifies 30 million mosquitoes and then releases them into 11 different countries. For certain, not like places like Mexico that are so close to the United States, right at the southern border. So, yeah. Do with this information what you will.
Whoa, what an amazing video, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments down below. But as you can see, been attacked in multi different angles, and it's a lot to keep up with, but I'm gonna continue to do my job here and share these videos with y'all, get y'all opinions on it. Go out here, do your own damn research, come back, let us know what you found, and we in this thing called life together. But look, that's all I got for y'all, and like I always say, spread love because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out though. Bye.